So that's easy enough to do. That's it, you've got it. You've got it.
The Smokehouse.
That's it, it's a Smokehouse. And then the other one is exactly the same, but it's Caws cheese that cuts Caws. It's the cheese shed and the smoke shed.
Yeah. Tell me the story of how you started your smokehouse business. Your wife worked for a traditional smokehouse down the road, which closed.
Yes, my wife had worked at the old smokery for about 10 years. And then it was a case, unfortunately, family circumstances, they were closing the business down and selling the property. So I decided to take the smokery on, and it was also a way of expanding our business base here as well. You know, my background is agriculture, dairy and sheep and beef.
Yeah.
But I was a farm manager, and I worked for this guy, and unfortunately he died, and his son came home to farm, and really it was good for his son to take over, and so I started looking for something else. And there was an opportunity here on the farm at home. It's only a small holding, so we're only talking about 35 acres, something like that. My wife's parents were retired, so we thought we'd look outside the box to see what we could do with a small acreage. Be at the Anglesey show, at the showground. It started raining. Ran for cover into this tent. And what was inside the tent were goats.
Wow.
And I'd actually had a bit of experience with goats about 10 years previously when I brought in 3 goats to rear the pet lambs. I'd liked them then as animals, but they all seemed to come together. They're lovely animals, absolutely lovely animals as well. You know, they do almost talk to you quite a bit. You know,
mischief.
They do and they don't. The adult goats, the milkers, great. They're calm. They're fantastic. The younger ones, we call them the teenagers. They're the troublemakers, and then the babies are like terrorists. They're just like into everything and everywhere.
The goat's meat is beautiful as well, isn't it? It is. Nice.
We actually.
Baby goat is the most delicate.
It's a lovely meat. It is a lovely meat, and we keep all the male kids go on to another business based in Conwy, and they're reared onto meat there. It's not quite taken off so much, I don't think, in the UK. But I think with the ethnic community, definitely there's a lot going there.
Yeah.
But now I think the chefs are starting to use it as well.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of goat meat going down to London and into the posher restaurants. So it's catching on. It's a low cholesterol meat as well. So it's good for you.
Difficult to know which branch to go. The smokehouse. Let's try that first.
We've got a stainless steel kiln that probably measures about 12 foot long by about 5'6" high, something like that. And it's got 3 separate chambers in it. We've got one for meat, one for dairy, and one for fish. And the salmon, you've got there should be some salmon here. There's some hot roast salmon there.
Yeah, these are all locally sourced.
Well, we use Scottish farm salmon for the salmon because it's sustainable and it's good quality product. The cheeses, which buy a lot of local cheeses, there's Snowdonia cheeses here, Welsh cheddar, and of course my own goat's cheese. You're going from the cheeses, which will probably take a couple of hours in the small pieces to smoke, up to 24 hours with the large pieces, to the salmon that's cold smoked first for 24 to 36 hours, and then it's hot smoked afterwards for another 2.5 hours.
Is it to actually preserve it, or to cook it, or is it to flavour it, or both? The
actual smoking is classed as a flavouring, but it's a preservative. It's changing the structure of the food, so you're giving a longer shelf life to the food. We work with other businesses. We do smoke products as bacon and the cheeses for other businesses, and it's a way for them to have a longer shelf life on their product and having a distinct flavour to their product as well.
So why longer shelf life? It's just something the smoke does?
It actually changes the structure of the food. It does take a lot of the moisture out as well, but it inhibits the growth of any microbe on food.
Oh, interesting.
Our popular products is the smoked salmon, the Welsh trout, and the bacon. Of course, the bacon is a very popular. So that's UK bacon because we can't stipulate Welsh bacon, and so it's bacon.
What you use wood chips? Any particular type of wood?
The wood is sourced locally, so it's Welsh oak that we use on a lot of the cheeses and the bacons and the salmon. And then customers also can stipulate if they've got a preference. For instance, we've got cheeses that we're smoking here that are smoked with beechwood. So that's another distinct flavour. The beech, I think, is a little bit sharper. Oak is more mellow, nice and hearty, deep flavour, whereas the beech can be a little bit sharp, depending on what product you're putting it on.
So you can use it for really any food product, because you've got chicken as well.
Yes, the chicken. The chicken
yeah.
is a good one. It's quite popular, smoked chicken, and we've also got duck breasts there as well.
Yeah.
But
Would there have been quite a few smokehouses on Anglesey?
there was a lot of smokehouses on Anglesey in the old days. You've got to remember there's no such thing as refrigeration. So it's a case of salting and smoking were the only forms of looking after foods and storing foods. And the salt content also helps the smoking. So you take the salt in, be it brine form or dry salting, and then smoke it. And it adds another level to the food, and the food can be stored for quite a long time.
So give me a good picture of what an old smokehouse. Have you ever seen one? Would have
I have seen one. I went on a trip last year to the Isle of Man to see the old fish smokehouses there, and they literally, it's like a shed where they have a fire on the floor. They make a fire on the floor, and then the huge chimney up above, and then you can go into the chimney at different level bars on which they hang the fish and the products to smoke.
Okay, so as the fire comes up the chimney, what sort of size chimney?
They have to be quite big chimneys because
Yeah.
you can get men climbing in the chimneys, products in and pull the products out. They're not against the EC rules, it's just that they're old-fashioned and they take a long time, frowned upon by modern methods.
Yeah.
So we've looked at modernising smoke, everything into the current age, shall we say.
Probably there's not very many smokehouses, modern ones, are there?
No, there's very few. I think there's 3, 4 in Wales. So you've got anybody can have a little smoker in the garden, or in barbecue smokers. You can get them nowadays, but to do it properly and invest in those who are professional, you're quite happy to bring products along. We can smoke them for people.
I see. I didn't realise that Welsh trout is popular in.
It's a very popular fish. You can catch trout locally in lakes. And then also you can get the reared trouts from the fish farms, and there's also the modern fish farms that do them with the aquaponics, where they're using the trout as part of the whole system of feeding the plants that they're growing.
Oh wow!
It's all as part of the water cycle.
Around Anglesey, there's lobster and the clam and mussels.
Yes, and you do get some sea bass in. Sea bass is a nice fish. You get mackerel, but size-wise, mackerel tends to vary quite a bit. There's quite a lot of fish. People realise fish migrate. So they might be in our waters now, but they don't live here permanently. And it's very difficult to get the quantity, and you want a product that's available all year round as well. But our cheeses here that we make on the farm, they're available all year round, and they're made from milk that we produce on the farm.
Yeah.
And they've all got Welsh names as well.
I see you've got some garlic that you've smoked as well. I didn't realise vegetables are smokable. Okay.
Yes, yeah. Well, not just for vegetarians, but vegetables are an important part of food. So we do a lot of smoked garlic. The garlic bulbs, they add fantastic flavour to food. So you might not want the food smoked, but you can add garlic that's smoked, or even butter that we do that's smoked, or we do chilies. We smoke chilies as well. So there's quite a variation you can do to add flavour to the food.
That's primarily for flavour versus keeping it because they keep it longer.
It does store it as well, because you're drying the product out as well. So you're taking a lot of moisture out of the product.
And so you've become a goat farmer as well, a dairy?
Yes, that's right. We've got our own dairy here on the farm. We're milking just about 50 goats at the moment. There's probably about over 100 goats on the farm, and we're looking to expand that enterprise over the next 12 months to 2 years. So it's something that's growing in popularity a lot now with the goat's cheese.
I like your story, how you got started in the rain.
It was a bit of a eureka moment when I was at the local agricultural show and it started raining. And I took a run for cover and went into this huge tent, and what was inside it, the goats, gave me a fantastic idea to farm them here on that small holding that we've got.
Is it primarily the cheese you make, or do you also produce the milk?
We start off with the milk, and then total control. I did look to sell the milk to begin with, but then I decided no, it's better to do cheeses. We do about 12 different cheeses. Hard cheese, soft cheese, medium range cheeses. Starting from we've got like the soft cream balls in oil. That's in sunflower oil, which also gives it a shelf life, so it looks after the cheese. That's in 3 flavours: plain, garlic and herb, and chilli. And they're very popular.
You don't have to let it age, do you, with goat?
That's a fresh cheese, and you don't want it to age, that particular one. The feta, you can age it if you want, but it tends to be we can't keep it long enough to age it. The hard cheeses we do age. We've got Cereal and Cubby, and they're named after local saints, and they're aged for 6 months before we sell them. And then we've got Caws, which is Grandad's cheese, because Grandad said that the cheeses weren't strong enough for him, and could we make a stronger one? So in the summer months, when it's nice and warm, the milk gets a stronger flavour and sweetness to it, because the goats are eating all the flowers and in the hedgerows grazing, and it makes a fantastic hard cheese in the summer that we store and mature on farm.
The goats as well, I gather you feed them different herbs and different foods, and you can immediately tell in the milk.
The milk is never, it can't be the same. In maybe the winter time when they're eating just the grass that's been stored, that the milk becomes a little blander, but it's not, I wouldn't describe it as bland. But in the summer months, as soon as they're outside, you can't dictate to a goat what she's going to eat and what she's not going to eat. They like browsing different things, and if they've been into the ditches eating the chickweed or stuff like that, you're going to get a stronger flavour, or even wild garlic. They'll eat practically anything, but it has to be fresh and of good quality.
And do you mechanically milk them then? They make special milking?
It's a milking parlour that I've built myself. So it's not hand milked, it is machine milked. So there's exactly the same as a cow, but it's 2 cups instead of 4. And there's 6 goats at a time that are milked. We generally start milking about 6 o'clock every morning, and in the evening time they're a bit flexible. It's normally around about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening when I start milking.
They're pretty efficient, aren't they? They produce a lot of milk.
They milk fantastically well for their size and what they take in. They do milk very, very well, and they're such well-behaved animals as well. No messing, and they're very clean and friendly as well.
So do you breed them yourself?
We do, yes, yeah. We've got our own billy goats. There's 2 billy goats here on the farm at the moment. We've got 1 boer. We've added a boer as the breed that's for meat, because we actually keep all the males and we sell them on to a farmer who does the meat, because the meat has got such fantastic qualities as well. And we don't like to see anything going to waste. And then we've got the dairy side this year. At the moment we've got an Alpine Billy, which is a black and white one, and he fathers all the females. We keep all the females, and we've probably got about 25 females to come in at the end of this summer.
What's the gestation for?
It's exactly the same as a sheep, so it's 5 months, 147 days, but they're a lot easier to kid. So there's even though we do watch them and we can help them, they generally will do it 90% of the time on their own, and they're absolutely fantastic mothers.
Do you sell all your products online?
We don't sell online ourselves. We take orders and we send stuff out to people. We have got, in our plans of growth now, we're going to be doing a new online website. But just due to the expansion, it's going to take time, so we're selling out through distributors and wholesalers at the moment. But if anybody does want anything, if they get in touch with us,
just ring or go to your website.
we will send out stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds